Hello, it's about 8:10 p.m. on Tuesday, June the 10th. And this is going to be one of those episodes that perhaps breaks the usual format a little bit as we look at things going on right here, right now, like that episode we did on the LA fires. But just so you don't panic too much, here's the usual line. I'm David Farrier, a New Zealander accidentally marooned in America, and I want to figure out what makes this country tick. And right now, things feel a little bit like a ticking time bomb here in America, and certainly here in Los Angeles. Of course, a disclaimer here. A lot can happen between when we record this, June 10th, and when you're listening, probably around June 17th. But look, here we are right now in our little studio, and we have shit to talk about because as of right now, 700 Marines and around 4,000 members of the National Guard have been deployed here to Los Angeles. And 3 days ago, one of them fired some tear gas in my general direction, and I got a lungful of it and sucked it in. And what is more American than that? So, grab your gas masks and get ready to ponder, was it really such a great idea to vote Donald Trump back in a second time? Because this is the LA protests episode.
Meta AI is the personal AI that's tailored to you, now with its very own app. It's built to get to know you, offering helpful answers and inspiration. Looking for something to add to your bucket list? Meta AI goes beyond traveling the world. It remembers you're a basketball fanatic and suggests you attend one of the playoff games. Just start typing or speaking to get the answers you need, wherever and whenever, because Meta AI is your personal AI. Download the Meta AI app, now available on the Apple App Store and Google Play.
Flightless, flightless, flightless bird touchdown in America. I'm a flightless bird touchdown in America.
Rob, what a chaotic, what a week chaotic time we're having.
Yeah, what a crazy last couple days. Couple days in LA.
Wild.
You're about to go off gallivanting around the world.
I'm gallivanting. I am going to Manchester tomorrow morning to see Rosabelle.
Yeah.
Which I'm very excited about.
So,
crack a second egg on her head.
Rather than recording this in a few days while things evolve even more, we figured enough has happened already to have a conversation.
Yeah, I feel like since Sunday I've wanted to start recording, and it feels like good just to sort of sit down and try and decode what's going on a little bit,
right?
Because to set the scene. The situation with ICE in Los Angeles, my read on it, has been going on for months now.
Yeah, this is not new.
Yeah, not new, but like the last kind of couple of weeks, there's been a few cases where it's that thing where like when things are happening, it takes a bit for things to get to go, I guess, viral and public in a way that makes people sitting at home take notice, right? There was a young boy, a 9-year-old, who was detained with his dad. And then there was a few other things. Some people at Home Depot were arrested.
There was a kindergarten graduation where they were just grabbing people.
And is that as crazy to you as it is to me?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
It's a kindergarten graduation.
Absolutely.
So these things all started happening, and then my understanding is that before ICE arrived, there were some tip-offs, and people turned up and started saying, like, no, don't take these people. And so there were these sort of scuffles, very minor scuffles, and that's when at some point Trump decided to say, things in LA are completely out of control. I'm going to send in 2,000 members of the National Guard, sort of the government coming in and saying, hey, nationally, this is what you're going to do, LA.
Yeah.
And then that is when protests here started actually happening. And the Saturday over the weekend was like the first big day. And then I went down on the Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, I guess taking a step back, like LA is a very Hispanic city. It's 48% Hispanic or Latino. So there is this like very communal feel going on right now in LA that's about protecting our own here.
Completely.
There are so many people affected by this in my life that I've heard from since these ICE raids have happened that are like afraid and like have to think about things just because of the color of their skin and because they'll be profiled.
I was thinking about this the other day as well, and it's such an obvious thought, but the wild thing is, like, these people are just, like, they're just people, Americans doing their jobs.
Yeah.
Like, they're just in, like, the Glendale Galleria in a storefront. They're teaching, they're doing, like, all manner of jobs. They're, like, chefing, they're cooking food, reading. Like, they're just like anyone else doing a job and doing a good job, and suddenly they're having to be worried about this sudden show of force.
Yeah, well, and like the whole argument from Trump and the right is that they're trying to get criminals out of our country, which is not what they're targeting, and not what they're targeting in LA. They're targeting without due process, which I think is the other, like, very scary thing about all this, which is culminated to people saying enough is enough.
Completely.
Is that you have people that are just getting sent away and detained, that they're not getting their day in court, and they're saying, nope, we don't have to do that. We're just going to kick you out.
Yeah, and there's been so many cases of this as well. Essentially, people being sent to gulags, essentially just to, like, rot away forever. And, like, this was, like, months ago this is happening, and now this is sort of in LA is boiled over to this point. And is it this idea of the National Guard coming in? Until this happened, in my mind, the National Guard was basically mobilized for natural disasters, like when nature turns on you, right?
What was your knowledge of the National Guard prior to
very little.
this?
Yeah, no, very little. I knew that they were, as I said in my mind, it was like they're utilized for natural disasters, and that's kind of it. I didn't really know where they existed in the system or not.
And what they did.
No. And I mean, the thing that was crazy is Trump's whole thing was things are like a war zone in LA. They're getting out of control. We have to do this. And just like to be very clear, things were not a war zone. It was the opposite.
That's the crazy thing is, like, hearing from people outside. This is a lot like the LA fires, like you said again, where people are reaching out and they're like, you guys are in LA. Is everything okay? It's
totally
looks like a war zone. And like a lot of my response is like, yeah, we're okay. The chaos that's happening here, like the people that everyone in LA is afraid of, is not people from LA.
No, not at all.
It's the, like, authoritarian presence that is being inflicted on us right now.
Well, no, it's terrifying. And
Yeah.
I mean, the National Guard are being posted outside a lot of the federal buildings in Los Angeles, and you saw them on the weekend. They're a scary show of force, and it feels like very unwieldy and very out of hand and just utterly pointless. Like that they weren't needed. Like the footage, if the footage anyone is seeing the last 4 days is because they're here. Like that's why the protests have, like, come along, and obviously the images in some of those spaces look intense because there's tear gas in the streets, but it's this tiny small pocket downtown as of now. And like the fires, like there's pockets of LA. If you didn't have the news, if you didn't have the internet, you'd have no idea it was happening.
Yeah, LA is very, very large. You use the phrase show of force, and it just that movie Warfare, the Alex Garland movie.
Oh yeah,
where they did the show of force with the fighter jets.
Yeah, completely.
Like, in just how scary and intense that was. Like, that is kind of perfect.
No, that's what it feels like. It's not normal. I mean, I would liken it to kind of like feeling like a video game in a way. Like it doesn't feel like it's real. And
yeah, anytime you see like military with guns and armor and tanks in your city, it is just like this scary presence.
Completely. To try and kind of wrap my head around the National Guard a little bit, I thought it would be good to speak to someone in the National Guard. Very hard to do, someone that's already signed up. So I found someone that was a National Guard member a few years ago and talked to them about what it is actually all about. So this is not his real name, Mark.
That's one thing I think what people don't understand is that the National Guard is the Army. It is under the Army, the United States Army. There's the active duty, there's Army Reserve, which is all federal, and then the Army National Guard is partially state funded. I was an E5, I was a sergeant in the Army National Guard, which is basically like the Army Reserve. I trained a 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks in the summer, which was called the annual training. The Army National Guard in America pays, depending on the state you're in, can get up to 100% for college tuition. So my whole college was paid for by doing this, which was actually the motivation for it. I had family members that were in the military. My dad was in the Navy. My uncle was in the Navy, stuff like that. So, I mean, the motivation was in that way.
And in your training, what kind of stuff are you learning in there? Is it how to operate a weapon? Is it how to rescue someone? What is it?
We go to the same basic training as the regular Army. I was with people who were going to be active duty, reserve, National Guard. We all went to basic training. Everything that you think of for Army basic training, that's what it was. All the typical stereotypes that you would think of is basic military movements, how to fire a weapon.
In super broad terms, what is the National Guard for? What does it do?
It was to train to do local stateside missions like natural disasters, crowd control, whatever the term, protest, however you want to term it. They would call it riot control. I didn't really ever like that term.
What don't you like about the term riot control? What made you bristle at that?
Oh, I don't know, because it's not always a riot.
Do you have thoughts on what you're seeing happen here at all? You've been there. I'm curious what you make of it all.
If I was in that position, if I was still serving, let's say I was in the California National Guard, I would say most of the time, a lot of the guys, I'm speculating, of course, maybe aren't thinking of the higher level politics of why they're there. Because I know from my experience, when I was deployed overseas, at the time of my life, how old I was, I'm not sure I understood. I understand more now than I did when I was there, right? I'm just trying to do my job. I'm trying to go home. I'm trying to fulfill what I'm supposed to do. And for whatever reason that I've chosen to be in this situation, right? I didn't choose to deploy, but I chose to join. They chose to join because whatever reason, school, their dad was in the military, their mom was in the military. They just wanted to join the military. Their friend did, whatever the reason that they're there. They're just trying to fulfill the job that they're told to do. Because if they don't do it, now they're going to be dishonorably discharged for not following orders.
This was the first time I've been around things like tear gas and rubber bullets and that kind of thing, and I got a bit of a mouthful of tear gas. It's such an effective crowd dispersal thing, isn't it? You can't see, you just need to get away from it.
I have had to experience it. We all have to experience it. It's actually one of the major milestones of basic training is to go through that being used on you. They have like a building that they've set up and they have tear gas the whole inside of the building. And you go in and they show you how it works. And then they make you take the mask off. And then they make you realize what it is that you're doing, how that mask is helping you. But then also, if you use this is what it's doing to somebody. You know, we come run out of the building, snot coming down, and like, you know, it's the whole thing. And 95% of the guys were like, this is going to suck, and I'm afraid. I hope that people remember that when they're using it. If they're ordered to do it, then they have to do it. Private so-and-so has to do it if Sergeant so-and-so tells them to do it, right? And that's the unfortunate part about it. I mean, that really is.
Yeah, what I found really interesting talking to him is this idea of, like, what do they think of being deployed here, right? It's like, are they into this?
Yeah, and they're just following orders.
Yeah. I mean, I'll play the audio of my experience down there soon, but I found myself, I went in there sort of feeling quite calm, but by the end of that day, I was like annoyed. Like I was looking at them, feeling angry at them, and I was looking at all the cops and feeling angry at them and being like, why are you doing this? Like, you're here purely because Donald Trump has essentially told you to do this. And there's nothing at this, like, you're not, like, did you sign up to the police to do this? Did you sign up to the National Guard to like shoot rubber bullets at your own people?
He said, like, they're following orders because if they don't,
yeah, they lose their job.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the bigger issue here was that, like, these protests were happening and they were mainly peaceful.
Absolutely.
For a few days.
Yeah.
Until the National Guard was sent in.
Yeah.
To
antagonize
and cause this. Like,
completely.
LA knew this was going to happen once they were sent in.
So Gavin Newsom, who I don't know a hell of a lot about, he's sort of hated by many, I think, on the left, but also my understanding is he also has like a real bee in his bonnet about someone like bigger and more powerful and on the right coming in and like telling him what to do. He's just like, screw you. And so the state of California, right, is essentially suing the Trump administration, saying this is like illegal. This is also, LA is a sanctuary city, right?
Yeah,
it has been deemed like a safe space from like having the National Guard and the police assisting ICE to do their work. And so all that is kind of out the window at the moment.
Yeah, the National Guard should be used when there's a national threat, like
Completely.
not against its own people. The whole idea of like this insurrection that's happening in LA and this like excuse that there's violent protesters is like so insane to me, given what happened on January 6th. And the fact that, like, if you look at this from each side of the political spectrum, that in anyone's mind, January 6th was not an insurrection. National Guard was slow to be called there. And, like, people still defend what happened there. They were all pardoned earlier this year.
Yeah. So much has happened. I forgot that had been a thing, that they were pardoned.
Yeah. The footage from January 6th of them assaulting police officers and like, it was much, much, much more violent than...
I mean, people lost their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely. And I wonder now, it's so hard to get a feeling for this, but do you feel that, you know, America decided to bring Trump in for a second term, right? Like, I remember 2016, we've talked about this, 2016, I was in America for some reason working on something, and I remember him winning, and it was weird, but it was, you didn't really know what the hell was going to happen. It's this reality star. He's like, I've seen him like at the WWE or whatever, WWF wrestling. And I'm like, this is weird and wacky. And he did his weird and wacky things, but like it got pretty bad and we learned what he was like. And then America's like, let's do this again. And obviously with the promise that he would make things better and be more effective, and they weren't happy with, obviously, the Democrats. Do you think, my long-winded question is, like, surely there's a feeling now like America's definitely not better. Like things are sort of more expensive and it's bad. And now like shit like this is kicking off. Like surely like to be a Trump supporter is like a difficult time now.
I'm curious what Trump supporters are like, if they're cheering this on now. Like,
yeah, like, and do they think LA is all on fire and like it needs to be like corralled or something?
Yeah, I am a little like at a loss for how they feel.
I say this genuinely, like if you did vote for Trump, like, and you are just like listening to this going like, no, I've got a point here.
Yeah.
And just like flightlessbirdchat@gmail.com. I'd love to hear. And we do have Trump voters that listen, like they write in occasionally. And I'd love to know like where you see this and whether you're happy with this kind of thing. Like, do you want to see the National Guard deployed around on the president's orders into different states?
And the fact that he's calling the protesters like paid protesters,
yeah, I know,
by the Democrats.
Stay tuned for more Flightless Bird. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Support for Flightless Bird comes from Quince. Now look, you don't need to look at me for long to know that I'm not big on trends, but I am big on clothes that feel good and that last. And that's why I keep going back to Quince. Their lightweight layers and high-quality staples have become my everyday essentials, especially when I'm out on my big hikes, because I love their shorts.
You have a lot of clothes. You really mix and match kind of
I do.
colors
Chaotically.
and textures and everything.
I do.
I feel like Quince has been great for your wardrobe because it's allowed you to really get a little more eclectic.
I needed some help as well. The best part about it as well, everything with Quince is half the cost of similar brands. And by working with top artisans and cutting out the middleman, Quince gives you luxury pieces without the markups.
And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes, which we like a lot. Stick to the staples that last with elevated essentials from Quince. Go to quince.com/bird for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns.
That's QUINCE.com/bird to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/bird. Support for Flightless Bird comes from Mint Mobile. Now, you know what doesn't belong in your epic summer plans? Getting burned by your old wireless bill. It's happened to all of us.
While you're planning beach trips, barbecues, and 3-day weekends, your wireless bill should be the last thing holding you back. That's why we made the switch to Mint Mobile.
Basically, you've got plans starting at $15 a month, and Mint Mobile gives you premium wireless service on the nation's largest 5G network. The coverage and speed you're used to, but with way less money. So while your friends are sweating over data overages and surprise charges, you'll be chilling, literally and financially.
Say bye to overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network.
Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. That's what I did, and it makes the whole thing very easy. Ditched overpriced wireless plans. My one used to be about $80 a month, and get 3 months of premium wireless service from Mint Mobile for just $15 a month. This year, skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Get your summer savings and shop premium wireless at mintmobile.com/bird. That's mintmobile.com/bird.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month 5 GB plan required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for the first 3 months only. Then full price plan, options available, taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. There was also a crazy stat about how last month he had deported 11,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
In a year before, Biden had deported 12,000 people.
Yeah, right.
He was not using these methods to do it.
No, and to be clear, like, the Biden was deporting a hell of a lot of people. It's not like suddenly Trump is just doing this.
I think the argument being made was that, like, this is all him being like, I need to be tougher than Biden, and I need to show this force, and it's all just, like, ego.
Yeah, it's all just show.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a dick swinging contest, really. It's like that and antagonizing. Because I guess also, like, if you're Trump, like, he's not getting his way on a lot of things, right? Like, he's tried to, like, pass a lot of things. It's not necessarily happening. And so this seems to be this kind of, like, just outburst of, like, I can do this thing.
The scariest part of all of this is this seems just like him setting the stage for what he plans to do more broadly throughout the rest of his presidency. And it's trying to stoke this fear in people of the National Guard and people of authority.
There was a piece in The Guardian from, I'm going to butcher his name, but Robert Reich, I believe. He's a former US Labor Secretary. So basically what he said, we're witnessing the first stages of a Trump police state. Last week, raids in San Diego, in Martha's Vineyard, and in the Berkshires led to standoffs as bystanders angrily confronted federal agents who were taking workers into custody. Trump's dragnet also includes federal courthouses. ICE officers are mobilizing outside courtrooms across the US and immediately arresting people. History shows that once an authoritarian ruler establishes the infrastructure of a police state, that same infrastructure can be turned on anyone. That's what you mentioned. We are not at martial law yet, thankfully, but once in place, the infrastructure of a police state can build on itself. It is imperative that we remain peaceful, that we demonstrate our resolve to combat this tyranny, but do so non-violently, and that we let America know about the emerging infrastructure of Trump's police state and the importance of resisting it. These are frightening and depressing times. But remember, although it takes one authoritarian to establish a police state, it takes just 3.5% of a population to topple him and end it. I don't know. It's like, I think it's easy to downplay things, and I think like this is really terrifying.
Well, and it feels like conspiratorial to think that there's this much of an agenda going on.
Completely.
You want to be reasonable and be like, there's no way that's the plan. But I think when you see what he's been willing to do, I don't know if people are taking it seriously how scary of a line we're walking right now.
And I assume that's just because there's been so much batshit stuff going on, right?
Yeah.
There's been so much noise. Ever since 2016, and it's like, at what point do you become worried? And like going back to like thinking about the fires, that was a similar thing. If you're like getting metaphorical, it's like, when do we need to become worried about this thing? Is this not a problem for us, or is this going to like flick into our neighborhood and affect me personally? You know?
Well, I mean, the other thing that's been going around is that this is all just a distraction because 4 days ago, the whole Elon and
which seems like a year ago,
Trump thing happened, and this happened right after Elon dropped the big bomb about him being in the Epstein tapes.
Yes. Yeah.
And which, who didn't think that? There's so many photos of them together, videos of them together. But I don't know if this is walking too much on conspiracy lines.
Oh, we can wade in, you know. I mean, it's all in the air. I mean, that's the thing. It's hard to know Trump's motivations because he is so erratic and he's so vengeful as well.
Yes.
And it could be like hey, look over here at all this stuff. So we're not talking about this embarrassing fallout he's having over here.
Which has definitely been part of the playbook for him.
Completely. But the thing is, and the point I think about as well, like no matter what the reason is, this is happening, right?
Yeah.
So it's like no matter what reason he's doing this, whether it's a distraction, whether he's like just fucking vengeful at California, whether he hates migrants as much as he probably does, it's happening. And people are terrified and people are being separated from their families. And now the National Guard is here. And just, you know, there were 2,000 brought in over the weekend. And it's my understanding there are another 2,000 on the way, plus 700 Marines.
There was a post that's been going around. I don't know. Like, it's hard to know how much of this is a bubble in our world because we're in LA.
Absolutely.
And how much of this is just redundant for us to talk about. But there's this post that was going around the last few days. Travis Hellwig. In the coming days, the national media is going to call LA a war zone. But the truth is, the folks protesting today are worried about their friends, their neighbors, and their community. A few idiots will throw a rock and it'll take over the entire narrative. But just know LA is afraid right now because their coworkers were kidnapped at work, because the guy who sold them dinner was snatched by masked men, and because a bunch of neighbors' parents straight up never came home. As Trump gleefully escalates this with the National Guard, violence is inevitable, but just know this protest started from a place of protection, a place of love. We love our neighbors, we love our family, we love our community. Whatever the news tells you in the coming days, that's the truth. They're going to paint a vision of LA that is much different from that, and don't let them.
I think that is so absolutely on point.
Yeah. This was before the National Guard came and before everything that's happening now has been happening.
I'm going to play some of the audio I recorded on Sunday. Basically, things had kicked off on Saturday, and then that night, Trump was like, I'm sending in the National Guard. And so on Sunday, I went down to, I was going to go down to City Hall for a 2 p.m. scheduled march. But I thought I'm going to go in earlier around 10 o'clock and just kind of like park 20 minutes out of downtown, walk in and just see what was going on. And as I was walking towards the town hall, I saw a bunch of these giant, armor-plated vehicles, and I was like, holy shit, that's the National Guard. And they were basically all outside the Metropolitan Detention Centre, like the downtown jail, essentially.
Is that where they were detaining?
Yeah, which is where they have a lot of people detained there. So it was not my intention to go there, but I saw there were maybe a crowd of around 50 people, and this was about 10:30 a.m. on Sunday morning, and I started recording.
And the big march, everyone was saying go to City Hall at 2 p.m. that day.
Yeah. So this was like 4 hours earlier, basically. And this is what unfolded.
ICE came into LA a couple days ago, and they rolled into a Home Depot parking lot, and they decided to do a raid. And LA responded today with or yesterday and the day before, absolutely we're not going to do that. We have 95% of Latinos in Los Angeles, and this is something we're not going to stand for. And if other states don't want to stand up, then it's going to be Los Angeles. It's going to be California, right? And we have to show America, no, these fascists aren't going to come in, roll their little tangs, and, wave Donald J. Trump's flag around. So, that's why we're here. And I feel like more people are going to show up. Yeah. And it's going to become a thing today, and it's going to become a spectacle. And that's what he wants, but the spectacle that he wants is not going to be the spectacle that he's looking for. It's going to be
here peaceful. Yeah. Have you ever seen anything like this in this city?
Not in this city. But I'm from Portland, Oregon. I was with 2020, the protests there. So I've seen it in Portland, but Los Angeles, it's from I believe it was the Truman, right? No, the London. London was the last president to actually roll out the National Guard. So Trump is like doing this, and he's not listening to the governor. He's not listening to Karen Bass. And, that's what, F around and find out. And that's what's is going to happen, Yeah.
And these fascists are out here in riot gear, right? And civilians are standing by unarmed, saying that undocumented people matter in the land of the free and the home of the brave. And apparently that is such a big problem. We don't want this. We will fight and fight and fight and get tear gas, and we'll still come out here today because democracy matters. The truth matters. Justice matters. That's what this country was built on. My ancestors were stolen from Africa to come here. And then you stole the land from the indigenous. So that's stolen people on stolen land. Never forget that.
I am sick and tired of it. You should be sick and tired of it. You think any of these people in the White House sending you these commands give a fuck about you? Not one of them do. They laugh at you. Our president laughs at you. He calls you fools. Think about your place in history, ladies and gentlemen. Ask yourself when you wake up tomorrow. I don't know if you have kids. Ask yourself the future you want for your children. Is it this? You can answer me. Is it this? Do you feel good about this? You're tough behind your fucking masks and your fatigues and with your weapons, but how do you feel on the inside? This is our fucking community, and we will fight for it if we have to.
I was here during the Black Lives Matter protest after the George Floyd death in 2020, which was significant. The National Guard was deployed then as well. It was a very similar feeling. I think what's different now is we were out protesting for marginalized communities, which we are here as well today. But this goes far beyond that. Look, I'm a white guy. I could be sitting at home on my Sunday enjoying my afternoon. But if I don't come out and stand up for these communities, they're coming for me next. They're coming for these men and women in uniform next. Look, we know that the road to Nazi Germany was paved with apathy. I refuse to be apathetic. I think my community refuses to be apathetic. And we'll continue to be out here shouting and doing what we can. It's the most American thing we can do.
Just on we don't have a lot of guns in New Zealand. You're here yelling at these men who have got, assault rifles or something. It's weird. It's fucking weird, right?
It's not the most comfortable thing in the world, right? I would, like I said, I would prefer not to be spending my Sunday here. But we're a country, rich with weapons of war. We see them on our streets all the time. They're utilized against our children in elementary schools, against our families in shopping malls and movie theaters. So what do I have to be worried about with these guys? We're so desensitized to it. It doesn't matter. I probably have, just as much of a threat going to the mall as I do standing here yelling at these guys, And that's sad, but it's the truth. So maybe it's just the culture. I don't care.
I'd love to know what's going through their heads genuinely. Obviously, they have this job, and I don't know how loyal they feel to things, but some of them staring back at us must be also going this is pretty messed up.
I'm sure there's, conflicting thoughts on this. As I look at these guys, who knows? Some of them may be with us, others may be with the presidents. They're here doing their job. But the point I'm trying to make today is they work for us. My tax dollars pay for them. They swore an oath to the Constitution of the United States, not to the President of the United States. Yes. And if I can accomplish this tiny thing here today, it's to remind each and every one of these men and women that they are here to serve us and not the kook in the White House.
There is something in the air, right? That's making us cough.
They were. You see on the street, they were pepper spraying us tear gassing us last night. Right. And so I think all the traffic going by is kicking it up, and so that's why everybody's coughing. Because this is from last night. Today's
gas.
Yeah, this is last night. They haven't done that today yet, but we see that they're out with their with their peppers. I think they're pepper spray bullets. But
What's your prediction for today with the crowd growing and what you're seeing here today? Any sort of idea?
no, we're just kind of like wait and see. We have no idea what's going to happen. It kind of depends on them. Last night when we were here protesting, we were all here. As soon as the police dispersed, we dispersed. So we're just here waiting to see what happens with them, what they're going to do to us. So now we got the DHS police out here. They got their pepper spray and their tear gas bullets, you can see. So
those are new. They just popped up.
They just came out with those. Yeah, they weren't here earlier. So
they look fucking scary.
Look, I got tear gas last night. That wasn't pleasant. So I don't want to go through that again.
This isn't a movement, it's very tactical. You may think that we're not educated or we don't know what we're doing, but believe me, from the 60s to 2020 to 2025, we know what we're doing. No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
I was born and raised here. We were poor. We were poor, but we managed to make it. Just like everybody else who works hard. Nothing wrong with that. That's the American way. It doesn't matter what nationality you're coming from. Our parents came here not knowing anything, but they worked hard. And then you want to accuse these people, they're criminals? No, man, they're working hard. They're working hard to put bread on their table. And that's every human being has that right. And yeah, okay, so you came here illegally. Pay $20,000 and let's get you going if you're a working person. It's that simple. Why make it so fucking hard?
Does it worry you being up against these guys as they're staring at you with like assault rifles and tear gas?
They're smart enough not to shoot at us. They know what's up. They're military. They're here to defend. I mean, they're a show of power or force. I'm not afraid of that. I mean, guns are needed when you need them. But right here, they're just showing force, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But what they represent, or they're taking orders from a con man, and that's what I don't like. That we elected a con man. Intelligent people elected a con man, and that's what I hate. And as a result of that, we get this.
Flightless Bird will be back in a moment. Support for Flightless Bird comes from Shopify. Now, Rob, have you seen that big purple button when you buy certain things online?
I love that purple button. It makes checking out so much easier than having to retype everything out, type your address, type your credit card. All right there.
That is all thanks to Shopify.
All right, picture this. It's midnight.
Ooh.
You're lying in bed,
Ooh.
scrolling this new website you found, hitting the add to cart button, and it's an item you've been looking for. After 15 minutes, you've decided you've done enough damage to your wallet, and you decide to check out.
Mm-hmm.
You remember your wallet is in the living room.
Always.
And you don't want to get out of bed to go get it.
Absolutely not.
So just as you're getting ready to abandon your cart, that's when you see it, that purple shop button.
Oh, phew.
That shop button that has all of your payment and shipping information saved, saving you time while you stay warm in your bed with your ghost.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's basically Shopify, and there's a reason so many businesses sell with it, because Shopify makes everything easier from checkout to creating your own storefront. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the United States, from household names to brands that are just getting started.
Shopify gives you that leg up with hundreds of beautiful, ready-to-go templates that express brand style, and forget about the code. Tackle all those important tasks in one place, from inventory to payments to analytics and more.
And did I mention that iconic purple Shop Pay button that's used by millions of businesses around the world? It's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the entire planet. Your customers already love it.
If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify.
Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/bird. Go to shopify.com/bird, shopify.com/bird. Support for Flightless Bird is brought to you by Smalls. Now, anyone that knows me and has followed my social media at all will know that I love cats. Cats are my favorite animal. My parents bred cats when I was growing up. I used to show cats in cat shows all around New Zealand. And one year, when I was 14, I got Best in Show for my cat, who is called Chandler Bing.
You are a cat man. If anyone knows anything about David, is that he's a cat man.
And there's one thing that's really important about having a show cat is that, and this sounds silly, but it's actually legit. If you need a cat with like shiny fur, you need good cat food. And that is where Smalls comes in.
Smalls was started back in 2017 by a couple of guys home cooking cat food in small batches for their friends. And a few short years later, they've served millions of meals to cats across the United States. Plus, something we like a lot, Smalls works with the Humane World for Animals. They've donated over $1 million worth of food to help cats through the Humane World for Animals.
We like this.
And they even give you a chance to donate at checkout, whether you donate $5 for flea and tick medications or $7 for vaccines.
Smalls cat food is basically protein-packed recipes made with preservative-free ingredients that you'd find in your fridge, and it's delivered right to your door. That's why Cats.com named Smalls their best overall cat food. In LA, my apartment that has a ghost doesn't let me have any pets. I don't have a cat, but I have a neighbor's cat that I love, and I have sent them a bunch of Smalls cat food, and that cat, I gotta say, it's looking good. So what are you waiting for? Give your cat the food they deserve. For a limited time only, because you are a Flightless Bird listener, you can get 35% off Smalls plus an additional 50% off your first order by using our code BIRD.
That's an additional 50% off when you head to smalls.com and use the promo code BIRD. That's promo code BIRD for an additional 50% off your first order plus free shipping at smalls.com.
What's worse than an ad interrupting your favorite music or podcast? That uninspired coffee you've been drinking while working, which is why Flavia is elevating your everyday coffee experience. Now you can enjoy cafe-quality beverages like coffee, tea, frothy lattes, and creamy hot chocolate made right in your home office, actual office, or wherever you want to upgrade your mug with bold, delicious flavors. Visit Flavia.com to shop the collection of machines and beverages now.
Were you here yesterday, sir? How was it yesterday?
It was incredible, but emotional, because we're nonviolent and unarmed and educated, and they are the terrorists. And they started tear gassing us, and it got into my throat. But we're here to stay the long haul. I believe in full liberation from the detained, legalization, a path to legalization. And if we're in for the long haul, and we have to be really strategic. I went to Berkeley and even a touch of Harvard, government and social justice, to make the biggest difference, to try to make the business serious. But they're my teachers, you're my teachers. I learn from you, and we learn from each other. I'm just trying to say that I've tried to do the right thing, and I have. And I think that we have to be even more strategic and even more brilliant and even more organized. We are, but even much more so to really emerge victorious.
Y'all motherfuckers real hot. Y'all white boys, y'all burning up under that shit, definitely. Y'all fucking, ooh. I feel bad for all y'all. They making you stand out here for some bull, what, shit? Hi, sir, you standing out here for bullshit? We got Miss Four Eyes over there. How many of y'all four-eyed? I'm gonna bully these hoes till the end of time. Like, I got time. They got time, so do I. Because bullying what works? You're short. None of y'all tall, first of all. None of y'all above 6 feet. Is that why y'all here? Take off y'all helmets. How many of y'all bald? Get the fuck out of LA. Get the fuck out of here. Fuck you. You're not wanted. You're not fucking wanted. Nobody fucking wants you, motherfucker. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. What is this? What is this bullshit? Fucking armed camp? That's fucking weakness. It's not strength. It's fucking weakness.
What brought you here today? Why are you here?
I'm a fucking immigrant, man, you know? And when I was a child, I felt the fear. You know, all these people that were deported, that were picked up today, they have families. They have like little kids, and those little kids are scared shitless today because their daddies and moms got taken away for going to work.
And that's just not fucking fair, you know? I have a good life. I live in Laguna Niguel. I live in Orange County. But I felt compelled to come here. I brought waters and snacks for people. But I've had it with this shit. I've just fucking had it with these fuckers. I've just fucking had it.
You do this for free college, my dude? Against your own people? You too brown to be standing on that side, my guy. I see you got extra clips, though. Free college must have been good. Hope they taught you something. You're an embarrassment, my guy.
Have you seen anything like this here before? I'm new
It's
here.
like the first time I've ever seen anything like this in LA, man. It's just crazy. I can't believe these guys actually showed up, but I guess here we are, huh?
What brought you down here? Were you here yesterday, or?
No, I wasn't, but I heard that they were calling in reinforcements. So LA called in our reinforcements, and I showed up today to make sure everybody is well represented, you know?
I appreciate it. Thank you for talking to me.
Anytime, my guy.
Stay safe, okay?
Likewise.
The goddamn shame!
Listen up and listen clear. Listen up and listen clear. There are Proud Boys, or what they are known as KKK, in the crowd, taking photos. Point them out. So stay vigilant.
What just happened, boss?
They just shot her to the ground. She just dropped to the ground.
You okay, ma'am?
I'm good.
What happened?
I was lying on the ground just as a way of peacefully protesting, and the guard members helped me up, and I asked them to keep us safe. I asked them to keep us safe, and he pushed me into the road. I begged them to keep us safe.
You're okay?
Yeah, I'm good. They're supposed to be protecting the people, and they're not.
Be careful, ma'am. Please be careful here, okay?
Are you good?
You're good?
Yeah, I'm strong.
Yeah, you are. I'm freaked the fuck out. Here we go. Oh, God. Out comes the tear gas. It's a good dose. You're fucking brave. I ran when they started like throwing canisters. You stayed.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not afraid of them. It's tyranny. Like, how you can't be afraid of that. And I'm here to stand my ground.
Respect.
Thank you.
Respect. Be safe.
Thank you too. You have your phone? Yes.
They're murderers, bro. Straight the fuck up. You know what I mean?
So as the audio faded out, what had happened is, by that point, I was like running with my little legs. And when I didn't really know what to expect, we got like a little bit of tear gas earlier, but when it really hit us, it's just a big cloud. I wasn't close. I was maybe 20 meters back. But when it hits you, it just like, you can't see, you can't breathe. It just sort of shuts you down, and you just want to run away from any more of that shit. Massive amounts of like snot coming out of your nose. Like, it's disgusting. It's like your body suddenly just like is obviously trying to eject this gas. But what had happened is everything was reasonably chill. But then at one stage, a bunch of SUVs came in, probably about 10 of them, border and immigration services, whatever they call them. And then they were flanked with a big, like one of those big armored trucks at like either end. And because the protesters were all standing in front of the the National Guard officers, instead of saying, which I guess kind of makes sense, instead of like, get out of the way, everyone, they just like started like launching immediately, and everyone just got like incredibly fucked up like very quickly. And those, that convoy just went straight into the center.
I mean, the footage that's been coming out over the last few days has been kind of insane. There was that Australian reporter.
So I met her. She got shot in the back. So I met her that morning. She's baller as hell. Like, she was down there jumping all around the place. But there was that amazing shot of her where she's talking to camera. She finishes a piece to camera.
Camera pans towards them, and you see the cop just like turn and just shoot her in the leg with a rubber bullet.
And that was front page of like every paper after that. It was amazing because it's one thing getting shot in the back, like a journalist getting shot by a rubber bullet. It's like dramatic, but you saw the guy
aim at her
and shoot. And it's like, why are you firing on the press? Like, you're just kind of an asshole, man.
There was another crazy one I saw today, and it was like fairly empty street, but there was a line of officers, and some girl was trying to get to her apartment, and like 6 feet away, he just shoots her in the stomach with the rubber bullet.
I'd seen that same clip, and he was just had his gun up like the whole time, just almost like ready to go. That happened. That was about sort of 4:00, and I went back to my car and left. As I was leaving, the 101 was, half of it was taken over by protesters who by that point had come down onto the freeway. But then that night is when things got a little bit more raucous, and you had those Waymos set alight. You sent me footage of that. And those are the images that suddenly go everywhere. And my mum is suddenly in New Zealand emailing me going, is LA okay?
Yeah, is LA on fire?
It looks so dramatic, but it's this very small contained thing.
Right, we could see smoke from the city, and it was the Waymos. I had read that LAPD had to contact Waymo and say stop responding to people calling for you guys in this area.
You don't send more Waymos because they're going to get set on fire. So that shit obviously looks very dramatic. And then last night I went downtown again at would have been about 8 p.m.
By Angel City Brewery, right?
Yeah, by Angel City Brewery, and went into Little Tokyo. And there was a shift because that was less protesters. And at that point you had people coming out who were definitely an element like looking for trouble, like looking to like just like tag and like deface some local businesses and stuff like that. There were people setting off fireworks. Again, the tear gas came out. But again, not like that crazy. Yeah. Not like 4,000 members of the National Guard needed. But it's all just a reaction to this feeling of this show of force.
Yeah, I mean, it was all antagonized.
Yeah, and the number of LAPD officers out last night was just insane. Like, it was just such a large number of them. It's very, very strange.
What has all of this made you feel about Angelenos and residing here?
Oh, there's two sides to this, right? Because on one side, I'm like, America feels... We've talked about this at multiple times. It's like, God, like, what time do I go? Like, what time is New Zealand, like, much more appealing than my work and my life here? But Angelenos are fucking incredible. I felt so incredibly safe. I'm this like tall white man. Mm-hmm. I'm like aware that I'm like a white man, like walking up to strangers, like shoving a mic in their face. There were a bunch of people down there from like a huge variety of backgrounds and ethnicities and beliefs and everything. I could walk up to anyone and they were like immediately so glad to talk and friendly and great and accessible. And it felt so safe. And I haven't felt that safe like near like downtown before at that time with that shit going on.
Yeah, I mean, it really feels like the community coming together.
Yeah.
Like, this is one of the first times of it. I mean, the wildfire kind of...
there were elements of people coming... absolutely. People like, donating, coming together, wanting to do something.
Yeah. And it's just this shared goal of, like, protecting each other.
Completely.
And the, like, fucked up thing about all of this is, like, what we're protecting each other from. And it's like weirdly American too, and like what the values of America are supposed to be, that like Americans coming together and
completely. That's like the best part of this country.
And and
a right to protest.
Yeah.
That is a right. And I think our tax dollars go towards paying the National Guard and the LAPD. I would argue they could be doing a lot better things. Like, I think the LAPD could be off like solving some murders or like helping people out. I pay taxes here, and it's just funny to think, oh no, that's going to the National Guard. They're now like tear gassing us. Turning that force against your own people is just like a really odd thing. And again, that's where I started thinking of, is there anyone, any of those National Guard members that are there being like, oh man, like this does suck.
Yeah.
So when you started this episode, I felt myself getting increasingly angry towards those people. I'm like, if you're a cop, like just quit, don't do this, like go home, like this sucks. Because the people I was meeting there was so kind and on a level of what you said, protecting each other. It's like, this is what I want to feel. Like, what is the National Guard doing here? Like, we don't need this shit.
What ICE is doing to something that's such a fabric of this community and this city is terrifying. And finally, LA and everyone here is
kind of had enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you do need to stand up to this shit at some point, because it's having enough. And I feel like other states are turning as well now. There's been protests elsewhere. There's one in Texas.
Chicago, right, as we speak, is also, in New York, the same. Yeah, I mean, it's scary. It's scary to be Hispanic in this country and for the community to come around them and be like, no, you're as much part of what makes America what it is.
Completely.
We're going to protect you.
Yeah. And that is the side of it that makes me incredibly encouraged and makes me want to stay and like love this place. Because it is like LA, it's like a horrific, like dirty mess, but it's like there's so much, every type of everything is here. Culture, food, drink, everything. And I like the people, and I love that to it. And like looking around on Sunday morning before we were at tear gas, like everyone was just like different ages, sexes, sexualities, everyone was just like there and like together.
Yeah.
So now it's Tuesday. My friend just texted before saying apparently ICE is staying in a hotel not far from our studio where we are right now. And the advice was to go there and just like start like tooting horns, like popping horns very loudly, just to annoy all the ICE members staying there.
Was it Glendale that came out and said that they weren't going to house them anymore?
Yeah. And that stuff's encouraging.
Yeah.
It's like, we're not going to house your ICE agents anymore. Like, we're done. And it's like encouraging seeing people turning on it.
Yeah, it's encouraging to see that there is a result to these actions.
Not just the people, but like the people that are in charge going like Trump, like, fuck off, mate.
People are afraid. Our nanny is Hispanic, and like we've had the conversation of like, she has our kids and they are not white, and if they're just picking people up, who's to say that that's not going to happen and they're going to think Calvin is also here
fucking hell
illegally?
Yeah.
And like the fact that they're doing it as recklessly as they are, of like, what do we do if we can't find them?
What does that do to your like thinking about this? Because how long have you been in LA for?
8
years now. Yeah. It's weird, right? Like it's weird seeing like stuff that you love turn in this direction.
Yeah.
It's like incredibly frustrating.
Well, I mean,
and scary.
The piece of it is, though, it's not LA changing. It's kind of this authoritarian force.
Yeah, trying to take over LA. 100%.
Being like forced upon LA.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, there is that piece of it that I don't feel it's like the city itself is changing.
No, it's a really good point. Like, as you say, the city is, if anything, is rising up and proving itself to be the opposite of all of that.
And it's becoming an example of what other cities, we're seeing it happen now in Chicago and New York and Texas. I think there's going to be more of this to come.
And as there should be. It needs to happen, because like I've always been wondering when this would happen, like when America kind of goes, no, like this sucks. Like, we don't want this. Like, this is terrible leadership from up top. This is awful. It's making us worse.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
and even like what America does about it. There was a vote for this.
There was. Yeah. Look, it's so odd. I mean, so this is going to go out as we speak in a week. There's a big protest set to happen. It's like what? Some big like Trump Day on the weekend? What is that?
Upcoming Saturday is his birthday.
Okay.
And he's having a giant military parade for his birthday.
In DC. Okay. I'm going to be in the UK when that happens. I like to think if there are things to talk about, we loop back and talk about them some more. But regardless, I wanted to like get together tonight and just record and have a bit of a timestamp of these things kicking off and how weird things are, because I also think it's kind of important to talk when these things are like just happening.
Well, I also think it's important to let people know outside of LA what's going on.
Things have been peaceful and there was no need for any of the show of force. Like, it's just insane. And walking around last night in Little Tokyo, it felt like I was in Grand Theft Auto. It was just like the number of cop cars and the police choppers circling and like flashing its big like fucking lights onto the ground. Another thing I just wanted to mention briefly, I want to read this quote from this piece. Because as this police chopper was circling and like shining its big flashlight on the ground, I remembered a piece that I'd read in the LA Times yesterday. As protesters and law enforcement officers clashed in downtown LA, the police department helicopter flew over a crowd on First Street announcing, like from their big loudspeaker, "I have all of you on camera. I'm going to come to your house." It's some asshole up there just probably being like an asshole, a clown. Also, it's terrifying, because they could come to your house, and they are coming to houses. So it's just, that's the feeling here. Like, that kind of shit is happening, and that's what has everyone here like so incredibly angry and on edge.
Rightfully so.
I'm going to transition into some feedback. Occasionally people write into flightlessbirdchat@gmail.com. They have things they want to give us. I vet them, and then I'm probably psychotic in that I give some of them my mailing address. And these are some of the things that have turned up. First, someone who has a contact at Nickelodeon sent us an official pottle of, is this a pottle? What do you call this?
A jar.
It's a jar?
It's like a jar of paint.
It's a jar of paint, but this is official Nickelodeon slime that I'm holding in my hands.
Have you opened it?
I haven't opened it. I am scared to open it right now. I feel like we should do something with it at some point.
Do you have a can opener?
We just need a knife to like flick it open.
Can opener is what you normally...
Isn't a can opener something that you have to chop through the metal?
That's also a can opener.
I would just think like we need to flick it open with a knife. Anyway, we'll find something to do with this. So we have Nickelodeon slime. If you listen to our slime episode, you'll know all about that. I bought this, Rob.
Oh, is this my Pope card?
You gave me some Topps X-Files trading cards, sealed, incredible, amazing. This is what I ordered from you a few weeks ago.
It's our guy, Pope Leo.
This is a limited edition Topps trading card of Rob's favorite new Pope.
Favorite new Pope, which for the record, I know very little about.
No, yeah.
Other than the fact that he's from Chicago.
Yeah, we don't look.
It was at 2005 World Series White Sox game.
That's cool.
Which they are commemorating his section.
Are they?
At the ballpark that
That's
he
exciting.
sat in. They've got like a big mural, I think.
That's cool.
And,
but so far, no big Pope scandal. Seems okay. But what do you think? It's a card that's in a little box.
It's pretty great. I do like a box.
Where will that go, do you think, in your house? By the bed, sort of by the bed, probably?
Probably nightstand, yeah.
Nightstand. Yeah, beautiful. So there you go. That's for you.
Thank you very much.
And this brewery in Portland sent this. Someone sent us whiskey. It's wonderful. Westwood American single malt whiskey. I thought, brilliant. I'll drink that. And I bought this in for our little set that we can put on. This is our Smith's Tea Flightless Bird variety tea set. I thought we could put that.
Smith Tea Maker was very kind to us when we went to Portland.
They were really good. Now, feedback. Scientology. People appear to be enjoying the Scientology episode. Ariel wrote in. And she said, "Hello, listening to your Scientology epi, I had to share. Where I live, there's an ongoing joke about this cult in our country. We live in a very rural county and sitting in the middle of nowhere is a gigantic Scientology compound on 100 acres. It's obvious no one but the people running it are there. They're not locals. They're just shipped in from wherever. I've never met anyone who goes to the church, but many locals have been hired for labor jobs past and present. To cut a long story short, she lives in this small bumpkin town where the church has their big technology vault that we talked about in the episode, where basically they archive all of their material. So if there's any kind of like nuclear fallout, the words of L. Ron Hubbard remain.
As they should.
Which is kind of amazing. So she lives, she's sent it to me on Google Maps. If you want to find it at home, just search for Church of Spiritual Technology Vault.
That's
and
in
you'll find it.
Northwest?
I don't actually where it is. Let's see.
So put it into Google Maps.
Yeah, but
which
you
David has not done.
like literally, if you type in, I'll tell you. Questions. Love questions about things.
He said it was up in Oregon.
Church of Scientology. Okay, so after some sufficient Googling, this is in New Mexico. FYI. Okay.
Fitting place
for a Church of Scientology vault. Ricky wrote in and said, enjoyed this episode. I thought I knew everything about Scientology. There were several times in this episode where I yelled, holy shit. At some point, I thought to myself, you probably have never heard about something just as insane. Just Google Zizians and you have a whole new episode. And I said, Ricky, you bastard, you clearly haven't listened to our live San Francisco episode where we talk all about the Zizians.
I do feel like the Zizians could warrant their own full episode, though.
I completely agree on that. And it's also ongoing as well.
I think there's probably some talent as well that you could get for it.
Yeah, if you are a Zizian or Zizian adjacent, flightlessbirdchat@gmail.com. PV said, you mentioned surprise at the IRS being okay with Scientology, and I was wondering if you were aware of Operation Snow White. To which I said, no. Apparently there was a huge scale infiltration of the US government by Scientology in the 70s called Operation Snow White, which is a great name. I'm now on the Wikipedia page. It was a criminal conspiracy, as in a conspiracy that was actually a thing, by Scientology during the 70s to purge unfavorable records about Scientology and its founder. This project included a series of infiltrations into and thefts from 136 government agencies, foreign embassies, and consulates by Scientology. It's freaking incredible. There's also another operation that Scientology went on called Operation Freakout, which is a great name.
Are they naming these or the government is?
Scientology.
Scientology's naming them, okay.
In Operation Freakout, they set out, and it's awful, they set out to have a journalist and author committed to a psychiatric hospital because they considered her a threat. Both reminders that Scientology is like awful and scary.
Yep.
Just insane. So Operation Snow White and Operation Freakout are both worth Googling. You remember that I read some feedback recently about how someone complained about how I said orientated.
Mm-hmm.
People have come to my defense. T wrote in.
Thank God.
She said, David, please double check when Americans correct you on your verbiage. Lots of things are said differently. In New Zealand, we say orientated. In America, they say oriented.
Is this like put phonetically? Because the spelling's still the same, right?
No, different. So orientated,
okay,
like orientated. And in America, it's oriented. Like in New Zealand, we say acclimatized, while in the US, they say acclimated.
Oh,
different things.
You say acclimatized? Or you don't say
that?
Yeah,
acclimatized. Yeah, and that's what we say in the UK and New Zealand. You're not dumb. Don't second guess yourself. Thank you, T. So yeah, thanks for coming to my rescue on that. And Andy just wrote in with something that for an idea for an episode, and I just wanted to see how you reacted to this because you have children. Because I also feel this could be like quite a controversial one. I love controversy. I'm a mum to a 7-month-old baby girl, and as I lay here nursing her at 3 a.m., I had a podcast topic idea that is uniquely American, which is sleep training.
Sleep training.
So she's based in the UK. She said, long story short, sleep training is basically letting your baby, often as young as 4 months old, cry at bedtime until they vomit or pass out in an attempt to train them not to wake you up at night. They still wake, but they just don't call out for you because through sleep training, they learn that if they cry, you won't come to comfort them. In many cases, it works. And after a week of the baby screaming and crying, they stop calling for you and appear to start sleeping through the night, which is biologically not normal for infants. The history is really fascinating. It was basically two dudes who invented this approach so mums in the US could go back to work as quickly as possible because there's no maternity leave in America. It's really popular in the US. Meanwhile, the rest of the world watches on in horror. Already I can feel the emails coming in, pouring in. I don't have children. I haven't sleep trained a child. I have no opinions on it at all. I don't know what you do with babies when they don't sleep. I assume they just fall asleep, but I don't know what you do. Is that a good idea for a topic?
I mean, it seems like controversial.
Okay.
I mean, we sleep trained both boys.
You sleep trained?
Yeah.
And it works. They just eventually they cry for a bit and then they get used to it and off they go.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard.
Just because when your baby cries, you want to go and like give them a pat on the back, or how do you calm a baby? Hold them or something, pat them.
Just like that.
But yeah, it's a very American thing, which is something I just hadn't thought of before.
Could be a go. I mean, it seems like a fine line between like shaming parents that did sleep train.
Definitely don't want to shame anyone. And also, just for full disclosure, Andy, who wrote in about that, have no idea if what they said is like on point or opinionated or what the deal is. As long as you love your baby, things are all okay with me. And look, I hate to go back to cards again, but I did just give you a Pope card, and the emails about this just keep coming in. I mentioned some dodgy Topps card traders the other week, but apparently there's even more going on. So apparently Topps, acquired by Fanatics, and Panini have been in a legal battle over controversial exclusive rights to produce trading cards, with Fanatics suing Panini and then Panini countersuing alleging monopolization. Then there are the hucksters, like the former NFL player Evan Mathis, who openly trims card edges to make damaged vintage cards appear to be in better condition just so they can make thousands more dollars from them. In fact, one of the most iconic graded cards of all time, a pre-war T206 tobacco card of Honus Wagner, was actually determined in the courts to have been altered in this way. It was bought in the 90s by none other than hockey legend Wayne Gretzky, but has since sold for millions ever since, despite and probably because of its infamy. And then there's another former NFL player, Blake Martinez. How do you say it?
Martinez.
Okay. Who was selling Pokemon box breaks on a popular app called Whatnot that is often a cesspool for scammers. His customers would hit valuable cards and his team would not ship them out. Of course, they just refund the buyer whatever the money they paid and then go and make more money by selling the very valuable cards on the secondary market. He is maybe the most famous breaker to be guilty of this, but there are probably hundreds of instances of this out there. And there's a whole lot of other crazy like scams going on in the world of cards, which I just found really mind-blowing. Eric predicts a Netflix documentary on this at some point.
Yeah, there's a guy in the morning in the coffee line that runs a memorabilia business.
Oh, really?
And he said the like world of counterfeit cards, it's a
big thing.
Pretty wild.
Yeah, well, apparently there's all sorts of crazy shit going on in there. Like the idea of like trimming edges to make like shitty cards look better. Check your Pope card and make sure I haven't trimmed the edges of that thing.
But also, what does it matter?
I mean,
if it's gonna make my card look nicer, I'm fine with it being a millimeter
totally
thinner.
I guess if you're like trying to make it look in top nick when it's not. All right. Crazy week. I guess we regroup again and make sure that we're all I wonder if I can get back into the States from Manchester. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll see. And if you do, we're in Denver.
We are.
July 3rd.
July 3rd.
And Chicago, July 10th.
Tickets still some available at flightlessbirdpod.com. I'm so grateful for everyone that's emailed in with topic ideas. I now have all our guests locked down.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Very excited about that. I'm very excited about these shows. I'm excited about these cities. Tickets at flightlessbirdpod.com. And as always, if you have any feedback, we are flightlessbirdchat@gmail.com.
Do you want to sign us off with a squawk?
I think you're the... Fuck you, man.
For the birdies, come on.